All right, I think we're live here. Let me just double check one last time. Always go to my home page here on YouTube just to make sure. We are live. Excellent. All right, and let's pop out a chat. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, actually, we don't need to worry about that right this second. So what's up, everyone? Let's jump right into our campaign here, playing the original Guild Wars. So I just want to let you guys know, if we take a look at the map, in my own spare time, I went ahead and basically explored everything. If I'm not mistaken, I think I have this entire, like, northern area over here. I actually walked pretty much from Lion's Arch all the way over here to Druid Overlook here in the Maguma Jungle. And I did complete a couple of quests. I try not to actually do that because I figure I would be a little remiss for doing that on my own. I'd actually like to actually, you know, get it on camera to actually record it. So I did do a couple. There were a few quests that, I mean, I really needed to get through. Like down here in Kessex Peaks, there's a quest, it's like the villainy of Galrath or something like that. And you have to go down there and whoop his ass. And it was a big pain in the ass to get there because, well, the Black Curtain's a really awful area to traverse. And then there was another quest, like, over here, like, in the swamplands, where it was, like, some guy on, like, this dais. And basically, you talk to him, and then a whole bunch of, like, fog nightmares end up, like, popping up, and you have to kill them. And it gave you a couple of skills. And then there was the other quest, right up here is the Ascalon Settlement. And there was the one quest where you actually had to deliver the supplies. So I went ahead and did that too and started up the other quest. So let's actually get our quest log here straightened out. You know what? Let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so we got our Krytan quests. We don't really need the Maguma Jungle or any of the other stuff. So let's turn in our first quest. This was the, let's see here, the Villainy of Galrath. So I went down and killed him. Let's turn it in. And then I think after we complete some of the quests and whatnot, we'll actually start doing the D'Alessio Seaboard Mission. So where do we have to go for this one? Because we have to go to Beetleton for that. I think some of these, there is a quest that's like right outside of town here for the if you start off as a Prophecies character, if you come out of here, out of Lion Arts here, there's the gang with Menlo, Sin, all the Prophecies main characters. So we'll let them do the thing and talk here. Move out over people. Oh, so they already did talk. So here we just got to talk to Devona. All right, so I think this is the actual Ascalon Settlement. Okay, so we just got to lead our party. You know what? It's actually kind of more in your interest to not complete this quest and then go ahead and complete all the other quests in that area, because then you have all these extra people here to help you out. And not only that, but they're not a part of your party, so it's not like you're having to do like reduced drop rates and whatnot to actually do it. So you know what? In that sense, let me actually just make sure that I don't have any other quests that are in this territory. So we got one in Scoundrel's Rise. We have to return to Magi Malaquire. Okay, well, we'll do that when we get back to town. All right, so that's the blankets for the settlers. That's for that. Okay, so we'll just hit it up, the blankets for the settlers. And then march our way over to the actual settlement. So I actually changed out my skills a little bit. Probably should have done it anyways. I had, oh, what the hell was it? What the fuck was that one skill that I actually had on here? Epidemic. So I always thought that there was this basically a combination between Wastrel's Worry and Epidemic, where you could cast Wastrel's Worry on somebody and then cast Epidemic, and then it would transfer everything. And that's not the case, because Wastrel's Worry is considered a hex spell, and not a condition. A condition is like the severed arteries or the hamstring or whatever else. Those are the actual conditions. You'll notice that there'll be like a little a box up here with a yellow border. Those are conditions. So I made sure I took that off after I started kind of testing it out and realized that I was screwing it up. I went ahead and just did a Hexbreaker because when you're over there in the Black Curtain area, a lot of the monsters in that territory are Mesmers. You get the Reed Stalkers, and they fucking suck. And they cast a lot of hexes and things on you. The only problem is it only protects you from one hex, and it's got quite a bit of a cooldown, 15 seconds. But I figure, you know, at least one is nice. You know, the ability to actually get rid of or prevent one hex instead of just having to tank them all. I'm not really too concerned with killing the monsters here. Also, in this territory, you start to fight these Karomi, which is like the Tengu guys. This is a really good place to farm feathers. They do drop their one trophy item, which is the feathered scalp. And you can salvage them to actually get some feathers too. Because feathers are one of those like harder, or maybe harder to find, or kind of like rare, common crafting materials. There's only like certain monsters that actually drop them. So if you go to like the material trader and find out that they're actually pretty expensive for a stack of, I think, 10 of them. Nice. Made sure the last time I was out to actually pick a bunch of these Krytan keys. There we go. So the feathered Karomi scalp. We salvage that into feathers. It's another good way of doing it. So if you actually had there's specific builds out there to actually come out here into hard mode and just farm those things. I'm not really quite there yet because, like I said, I don't really have the elite skills to complete a lot of the builds. So I'm going to have to wait to do that later on. We are getting pretty close to actually being able to progress the storyline to actually have the boss monsters that actually have the elite skills that we want. Although technically, since I did have a guildmate actually run me over here to Drakenar's Forge. I think I mentioned that before. So if I want to, I could actually just come up here to like Talus Shoot and then work my way up. Because if you start over in Drakenar's Forge, you can have a total of 8 party members instead of 6. Because if you start off in Beacons, you can only have 6 party members. Makes it a lot easier. And I know there's a whole bunch of elite skills in that area. I may end up doing that at some point. And not only that, but obviously you get better drops because all the monsters there are higher levels. Got a buddy messaging me. We're sitting there traipsing through pre-searing Ascalon together. Although I'm not sure if my buddy there has got the legendary defender of Ascalon. I know that the other day there was this big push to farm some experience. I don't know, when I got mine, I was in the motherfucking zone. I just completely concentrated. I was so focused and just so motivated to get it after having not gotten it for so many years. I wasn't about to let this actually pass me up here. Although I do have to say, I am a little kind of miffed that I didn't record a little bit more of the pre-series stuff. I don't know. I go back and forth on it. Okay, so here's the blankets. So we want the Ascalon settlement. Leader party north. So we're here. Where the fuck am I supposed to take these guys? Maybe I was supposed to go to this entrance? There we are. So you just had to go through the specific entrance. Alright, so I didn't actually get a quest update. It looks like Captain Greywind doesn't actually have a green exclamation mark above his head. No. Well, what the fuck? So what the hell am I supposed to do with this quest? Lead your party north to the Ascalon settlement. We're already here. So we already found Captain Greywind. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Why is this quest not updating? You want to know what the problem might be? I don't see Devona. Devona's not in our little entourage here. Strange. She must have, like, I don't know, got stuck on, like, some of the textures or something. So I think we're gonna have to do a little bit of backtracking here. Motherfucker. I was really hoping to avoid stuff like that. Right, so she's not with us, right? Just want to double check. Nope. She was following us. And then after this quest, we'll go to deal with the one that's in Scoundrel's Rise. I'm not entirely certain what we have to do there, but we'll take a look here in a moment. Some of the other quests, I think, are kind of farther in. I'm not going to really worry about them too much. I'm not, and also I should probably mention that I don't remember exactly what happens when you're done with the D'Alessio Seaboard Mission, where that actually takes you. I'm pretty certain that after you do it, you're supposed to work your way up north, and then you eventually get into Beetleton. And then maybe when you go to Divinity Coast, down here is like the Sanctum K mission, and then there's like another little like Fisherman's Wharf outpost. And I did come prepared this time. I looked up the whatchamacallit, the bonus mission for D'Alessio Seaboard. So I'm not going into it completely blind this time. I always felt kind of like an ass. Saying, oh, that's right, you know, I completely forgot to look it up again. Then you sit there diddly-bopping your way through the damn mission. Because it's just been so long since I played that, you know, I completely forgot. I've got, like, these, like, little fragment memories. Oh, fuck it, let's go kill this group. And also, I should make mention again that if you're able to go out and kill the monsters just by yourself and not actually have a party of people, you're going to get better drop rates. Because it's just like when you pick up a pile of gold, you end up having to share that with all of your people. It's the same thing too with drops. I know I've mentioned this before, is that the all of your party members will get their own individual drops, even though that they're AI. And obviously they don't show on screen. So if you can find specific builds, or you can come up with a specific build to do an area just by yourself, you should always opt to do that. I mean, you know, when you're not busy like doing story elements and whatnot. What the fuck? Where is Devona at? Huh. I'm a bit nonplussed as to what to do here. You know, I'm actually tempted to just go straight up back to... You know what? Fuck it. Let's do that. Let's go back to Lion's Arch. I'll just restart the quest. And there, not only that, but there was the one quest that we had to turn in here. There he is, up here on this hill. So I guess we'll kind of knock 2 birds off with 1 stone. Okay, so we got a quest here for Signet of Capture. Do you understand how to use the Signet of Capture? Yes, I do. I'll equip it later. So what do we actually have to do here? I think we just have to use it. Well, I'm not going to use it until we're fighting boss monsters. Seems kind of stupid to actually waste it. We do need to do this 1 quest. Go into North Krytan Province and follow Fort into D'Alessio Seaboard. Okay. Alright, so let's restart this one. I don't know what the hell happened here. I think maybe what it was is that Devona actually maybe moves on her own and we were supposed to go up a different way to get into the Ascalonian settlement. That's definitely a possibility, but it doesn't really make sense why 3 of these people would follow me around and then she would just, you know, run off and do her own thing. Seemed a little backwards to me. Unless, of course, she died. Alright, so we're going to cross this bridge, and then we're going to take the other route, instead of screwing around with the Kuromi. As much as I would like to actually go back there and fight those guys, because I'd like to acquire some more feathers. If I'm not mistaken, I remember there's this, the other YouTuber that does a lot of Guild Wars 1 content, you know, to this day is, Peter Kadar. I think if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I think he's somewhere out in, like, either Russia or Eastern Europe. But he makes some pretty good videos. He's got these, compilation farming videos for the individual classes. And I did take a look at those for Mesmers and Elementalists, and I did actually copy down a couple of his oh, we can't, there we go. I did copy down some of his builds for some of these some of the farming, but unfortunately there really wasn't too many when it came down to having a Mesmer Elementalist, or even an Elementalist Mesmer. Also, at some point soon, I need to look up where you have to go to switch your secondary class on the fly. I just completely forgot. Not that I'm really interested in doing it right now, but at some point I think I'm going to have to, if I'm really interested in doing some of the more worthwhile farming locations. Because I noticed a lot of Homeboy's builds were like Mesmer Assassin. But I'll screw around with that later. Yeah, just end up mowing through these guys so quickly. That's why I'm not really trying to micromanage my skills. You know, like I could be doing a lot of my interrupt skills. We've got Cry of Frustration and Complicate. But we kill him so fast, so it doesn't really make a difference. In the desert? Yeah, actually, you might be right. I think you're probably right. Yeah, you are right, because there was the individual quests. It's just like when you start off and you make a new character, and when you're able to actually declare your secondary profession, there's like all the individual skill quest, or the individual quests for the individual professions, and you can do all of the professions before you even decide to declare one. And it's basically the same thing. You're right, it's the same thing too in the Crystal Desert, where you're able to do all the individual profession quests, and you don't have to change them. Gotta ascend as a Prophecies character, right? Yeah, that is something I'm looking forward to doing in time. Eventually, you need to infuse your armor. It'll actually have the modifier infused. And basically, if we take a look down here, this is like where the last boss is at, the Ring of Fire area. And there's a monster down here. I believe it's here. It's called the Ilodon. You have to kill it. You have to do something with it, and you get to infuse your armor, because if you don't infuse your armor, you end up taking like this crazy amount of damage somewhere. Or maybe that's where you fight Glint, the dragon. I don't fucking remember. It's been so long. Does it cost you anything to actually switch your secondary profession? I could have swore it did. I could have swore there was actually a cost to it. I don't know if it was actually money or if it was something else. I was meaning to look this up the other day, but I just completely skipped my mind. Especially when I was wandering around trying to get my cartography title. You know, at some point, take a look at my titles here. At some point, I would like to actually max out my drunkard title. So I've got like what? It's got to be 10,000. That's a lot of fucking clicking. I could definitely do some trading. I've got the cash to actually buy stacks of booze. 500 gold, one-time cost per profession. No, I know that. I know that Glint is in the desert before you get transported to Drox. Right. But what I was talking about is actually infusing your armor. I couldn't remember if that's actually at the end of the game, in the Ring of Fire area, or if that was before. Something we'll have to explore later on when we get to that area. So do I actually have all my people? Very good. I'll make sure that none of these fuddamuffins died. Seems a little backwards that if Devona actually did end up kicking the bucket there, considering that we have Menlo and I have my one healer. Seemed a little stupid. Not sure what happened. She probably got stuck on something. Against the Mersat. Yeah, maybe the next fog-busting cartography adventure that I go off on, I might actually start doing the Southern Shiver Peaks. So I can actually not only explore, but get the elites like I was saying before. So I have everybody now. Come on, finish. There we go. Excellent. So that's where you actually get the Wastrel's Worry skill. That's what I was saying all along, that you never really want to buy your skills. You want to take a look at every individual skill before you buy them and see if there's an actual skill quest for them. Unless, of course, you're making some sort of build that absolutely requires it. I would definitely recommend holding off on that, because otherwise you're just wasting money and skill points. Okay, so here's the one we want. Reversing the scales. Head to Scoundrel's Rise, east of North Krytan province. Find the cause of the undead's western movement. Alright. Take a little detour here through the beaches. We're gonna have to fight a whole bunch of the Murgoyles. And for those that are not in the know, a lot of areas have a chance for... So they'll have like bosses, right? And the bosses don't always have specific spawn locations. Some of them are actually variables, which basically means that, you know, like, for instance, there's a Murgoyle boss that could potentially spawn right here. And if he's not here, I think he can spawn over here. But if I'm not mistaken, there are some areas where it's not even a guaranteed that they'll actually show up. Because when I was doing some skill hunting in Lornar's Pass, I noticed that some of the boss monsters there weren't even guaranteed to actually show up. But I was lucky on my first shot. So I managed to get a... What was it? Water Trident and... is it Crippling Anguish? Actually trying to avoid fighting these guys. Not make it easy. I'm hoping while I'm on this one quest that I don't really have to go too far into the interior to actually complete it. You know, it would be nice is actually to get the kind of a big deal title. And you only get that title when you max out a certain number of your other titles. And there's like different tiers for it. I think you get your first kind of a big deal title after you max out 3 different titles. So since I've already got the Legendary Defender of Ascalon, that counts as 1. And if I get the one Cartography title, that would be another. And if I do some trading for some booze, some sauce, max that shit out. Okay, it's good to see Captain Greywood found someone able to enough for the task. I'm quick on my feet and I can scout well enough, right? Okay, so you're gonna follow me around. We don't have to go too far in. Fantastic. Yeah, it's about that time that I need to start casting Hexbreaker. So it basically prevents the hex. And it causes them damage. Since my people are just gonna mow through these guys, I'm just gonna actually aggro them all, save myself some time. I was actually really tempted to put on a weapon that actually gives me the enchantments last 20% longer and really beef up my double dragon. I'm really in love with that skill. It's fantastic. And what I was saying before in my first episode about being a warrior elementalist, I'll tell you what, man, having double dragon as a warrior elementalist would be fucking hella good. Because you're a melee character, which means you're always going to be like right up onto the enemies that you're fighting, and then you cast this, and it just does shit tons of damage. And the monsters will take double the damage if the ally that you targeted has it that's right up next to you. Looks like we got a actual boss here. Shit. Misfire. Return to Captain Greywind. Okay. Done. Very happy that we didn't have to go too far into this place, because the fucking area is annoying. You have to fight 1,000,000 of the bog scales and the Murgoyles. Alright, let's head back to the Ascalonian settlement. And then we'll reevaluate all of our other quests and whatnot. Because like I said, I'm not going to go too far out of my way to actually complete some of the other ones. I was actually kind of hoping that a lot of the other quests that I had would be in this territory, or at least in the vicinity, and that's certainly not the case. Because I did do quite a bit of walking around, so it's no surprise. Yeah, instead of taking the beach, we'll just go through the mountains and the swamp here. Fuck, we're gonna end up having to fight all these bog scales. You know, I could just, like, actually straight up just walk past them, but all my people are gonna sit there and destroy these guys, and they're gonna drop shit, then I'm gonna be tempted to go back and pick it all up, so you might as well just let your heroes do what they're gonna do. And fruck them up. Should make sure that I have my Hexbreaker on at all times. I think it might have been actually faster if I would have went the other way around. Through the beaches. Suppose that was a nice little consolation, having the chest. I'm fairly certain that the actual lower level chests work. You know what? The next time I find a chest over here, I'm actually going to take a look at that. I want to know if the Krytan chests actually count towards your the one title. I think it might be Treasure Hunter. Okay, that's identify rare items. So I want to see if purple items actually count for that. But treasure item, high-end locked chests. I don't think that these chests actually count. But I'm also wondering if the purple items actually count towards your wisdom title. I think I did actually look that up at one point, where I tested it out in game here and found out that they actually did count. But we'll double check. Looks like we're not going to be able to go around the this gypsy end. Whatevs, man. Get dark in here, turn on light. So if you guys remember, as part of the story, I had the one quest that started over here in Beacon's Perch, where you had to lead all of these refugees that were walking around. This is the settlement that they actually ultimately ended up in. So instead of it being a settlement, it's more like like a refugee camp. Alright, so let's take a look at our other quests here. So we have to go to D'Alessio Seaboard to complete that. Okay, that's D'Alessio Seaboard. False Gods is return the litanies of the unseen to Brother Mizar. Alright, well, let's go to the Temple of the Ages. So for those that don't know, also as well, this is the classic location they actually get into the underworld, and I believe the Fisher of Woe. Basically, you here it is, the voice of Grenth. You just kneel, /kneel in front of statue of Grenth, and the voice of Grenth comes out. And I think you pay out You pay like a little bit of cash or something like that, or you have to buy a special scroll to get in there and get into the underworld. And I think I made mention of this before when it comes to actually doing some of the high-end dungeons and whatnot. I don't know if I'm going to actually be doing that anytime soon. I think I'm actually going to wait until we're done with the campaign. So I can actually take off this double adrenaline, because I believe 10% is the max for that. To investigate that here in a second. Pretty sure it is. Although I should probably not do this, because I may actually already have one. Alright. Take the, was it the hilt? And then we'll dump off all of my crafting materials. And then, let's see here. We'll dump you as well. So I do have this stack of the decayed ore emblems, because we fight so many undead and that's like their trophy item. So instead of like selling them or salvaging them, it just made more sense for me to actually just carry them. Just have one big monster stack. I think I remember actually picking up a couple of them. Yeah, alright. So let's go to... Oop, nope. Let's go to D'Alessio Seaboard here. Right. Okay, so we get some money and a fire rod. All right, well, we'll soon really discover some of the true attributes of the Scepter of Ore here in these missions. So I'm not going to read everything. If you guys want to read that, you could obviously pause and take a look for yourself. Okay, so as far as our bandit trouble quest, deliver the token of Janthir to Maraba. I think Maraba was, if I'm not mistaken, I think she was in this like little settlement thing. That actually it's right over here. So we'll do that later. Let's just go ahead and sell this holy rod here. Oh, God. Urgh. Motherfucker. That's not what I meant to do. Operator error. Son of a bitch. So now we have to go to... Something else I should probably look into doing is that if you notice in my my stash, we have the perfect salvage kits. You get them from these guys, these consumable vendors, but you have to have specific titles.
Are you hunting something?
Slayer of Nightmares. Let's see here.
Are you still here?
I obtained the rank Stealth Agent. Eventually, I'm going to have to look into
Why are you bothering me?
getting some of these titles so I can actually buy these things instead of having to trade for them. But this shouldn't be too big of a deal here. Just go to the Tyrian Travel Agent, and then we'll go to Krytan, to the D'Alessio Seaboard. You can only transport to actual areas that you've already discovered. FYI, so going to the Embark Beach doesn't allow you to actually it doesn't allow you to actually have access to some of the areas that you wouldn't normally till like later in the game. So anyways, we're going to start up this mission here in a moment. I'm going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to have to pop out my map of the area for the bonus mission. So I will be back in just a few.